Photochemistry by Ms. G. Afia. In this chapter, I am going to explain about photochemistry. What is photochemistry? It is a branch of physical chemistry. It can be split into two terms, photo and chemistry. So, we can define photochemistry as the branch of physical chemistry dealing with the chemical reactions taking place by the absorption of light radiations of wavelength in the range of 2000 to 8000 angstrom units, in which we can find UV and visible radiations. This is called as photochemistry. Once again, it's the branch of physical chemistry dealing with the chemical reactions taking place by the absorption of light radiations of wavelength in the range of 2000 to 8000 angstrom units, where we find UV and visible radiations, or simply it can be defined as study of light radiations and its effect on chemical reactions. So here you have to notice one point. For a chemical reaction to take place, the energy is supplied by the light absorbed, or the energy required for a chemical reaction to proceed is supplied by the light absorbed. Next, classification of reactions according to photochemistry. The reactions are mainly divided into two types. What are those two types? Dark reactions and light reactions. Dark reactions means which takes place in the absence of light. Light reactions means which takes place in the presence of light. So dark reactions are also called as thermal or thermochemical reactions. So how do we define dark reactions or thermal reactions? These are the reactions influenced by various factors like temperature, pressure, concentration, catalyst, etc., but not by light, are called as thermal reactions. Underline the point, but not by light. They are influenced by factors like temperature, pressure, concentration, and catalyst. So look at the examples given below. The first example, N2 plus 3H2 gives rise to 2NH3. This reaction takes place at a temperature of 300 to 400 degrees centigrade and a pressure of 200 to 1000 atmospheres, a catalyst iron and a promoter molybdenum. And the second type of reactions are photochemical reactions. These are also called as light reactions. These are the reactions which takes place in the presence of light. That means they are influenced by light but not by temperature, pressure, catalyst, concentration, etc. Such reactions are called as photochemical reactions. A well-known example under photochemical reactions is photosynthesis. This reaction takes place in the presence of light and chlorophyll. You know the reaction 6CO2 plus 6H2O gives rise to C6H12O6 plus 6O2. Another example also you can note down, photochemical combination of H2 and Cl2. So H2 plus Cl2 gives rise to 2HCl. This reaction also takes place in the presence of light. Next, differences between thermal and photochemical reactions. This is mostly asked as a short answer question. So the first difference is the definition itself. Thermal reactions, they take place in the absence of light. That means they are influenced by temperature, pressure, catalyst, concentration, etc. Photochemical reactions, they take place in the presence of light. Next, second point, they involve absorption or evolution of heat. Here, they involve light absorption. Next, third point, under thermal reactions, they are influenced by the temperature. Under photochemical reactions, they are independent of temperature. That means they are not dependent on temperature. Fourth point, rate of reaction increases with increase in temperature. Light has no effect on rate of reaction. Fourth point, rate of reaction is completely dependent on intensity of light absorbed. Next, fifth point, delta G of these reactions is always negative, whereas under photochemical reactions, delta G will be positive or negative. Next, sixth point, activation energy is supplied by the collisions among the reactant molecules, whereas under photochemical reactions, activation energy is supplied through the absorption of light by the reactant molecules. Okay, next seventh point, the average kinetic energy of all the reactant molecules increases, whereas under photochemical reactions, the average kinetic energy of those molecules which absorb light can only increase. Okay, so these are the differences between thermal and photochemical reactions. Next topic, laws of photochemistry. There are two laws under photochemistry. First one is Groth-Draper's law and the second one is Stark-Einstein's law. Groth and Draper. These are two persons who proposed the first law of photochemistry in the year 1839. What did they observe or what did they state? This law states that when light is incident on a reacting system, it splits or it gets distributed into three parts. What are those three parts? A part of it means incident light. A part of it gets reflected, part of it gets transmitted, part of it gets absorbed. Okay, so try to understand, students. When light is incident on a reacting system, part of it gets reflected, part of it gets transmitted, part of it gets absorbed. I think you know the meaning or the difference between reflected, transmitted and absorbed. So if we notice here, it is the absorbed light which brings about chemical reaction. This is called as first law of photochemistry or Groth-Draper's law. And the expression given for this law is IO is equal to IA plus IR plus IT. What is IA? It is intensity of absorbed light. IR is intensity of reflected light. IT is intensity of transmitted light. Then what is IO? IO is nothing but, so which light is being split into three parts? Absorbed, reflected and transmitted light. So look at the statement. When light is incident on a reacting system, so that is the incident light. IO is intensity of incident light. Now in this expression, it is IA which is responsible for the chemical reaction to take place. Now what is happening to the energy absorbed by the reacting system? It is passing to the reactant molecule which then starts reacting. The energy absorbed by the reacting system is passed to the reactant which then starts reacting. This process is called as photosensitization. Under this we have an example, photosynthesis in plants where chlorophyll acts as a photosensitizer. Under this law, there is a defect. See, what is the statement given by Groth and Draper? They have explained that when light is incident on a reacting system, a part of it is being reflected, part of it being transmitted, part of it being absorbed. But they did not explain how much amount of light is absorbed by how many number of reactant molecules. That means they did not give the relationship between the number of molecules reacting and number of quanta of light absorbed. So this failed to explain the quantitative relationship between number of molecules reacted and number of quanta absorbed. This defect is being explained by Stark and Einstein in their second law of photochemistry. So look at the statement of the second law. Each reacting molecule absorbs one quantum of radiation. Among the two laws, this is the most important one. Each reacting molecule absorbs one quantum of radiation. What did you understand by this statement? That means one reactant molecule absorbs 1 quantum of radiation, 2 reactants absorb 2 quanta of radiation, 3 reactant molecules absorb 3 quanta of radiation. So a relationship is given by Stark and Einstein between the number of reactants and the number of quanta of light absorbed. That is called as 1:1 relationship between number of molecules reacting and number of quanta absorbed. I think you have understood this statement. So, below I have quoted one molecule absorbs 1 quantum of radiation, 2 molecules, 2 quanta, and so on. N number of molecules absorb n quanta of radiation. What is n here? It is Avogadro's number and the value is 6.023 into 10 power 23. So NH nu can be made equal to 1 Einstein. What do we infer from this value? 1 mole of reactants absorb 1 Einstein of energy. N molecules is equal to 1 mole. So 1 mole of reactants absorb 1 Einstein of energy. You all know that according to quantum theory of radiation, energy per quantum E is given by h nu. Energy per Einstein E is equal to NH nu from the above data. It is equal to NhC by lambda. What is H here? It is Planck's constant. C is velocity of light. Lambda is wavelength. Okay. So N is Avogadro's number. H Planck's constant. C velocity of light. And lambda wavelength of light. I have given all the values here. So E is equal to 6.023 into 10 power 23 into 6.627 into 10 power minus 34 into 3 into 10 power 8 whole divided by lambda joules per mole is equal to 0.1197 by lambda joules per mole. So when you are taking the values 6.627 into 10 power minus 34, 3 into 10 power 8, we get the value equals to 0.1197 by lambda joules per mole. If you take the second set of values, E will be equal to 1.197 into 10 power 8 by lambda. If lambda is taken in centimeters, this would be the value. What is that? 1.197 into 10 power 8 by lambda in centimeters ergs per mole. Below, if we take lambda in angstrom units, 1 angstrom unit is equal to how much? 10 power minus 8 centimeters. So if 10 power 8 minus 8 goes up, it becomes 10 power 8. So 1.197 into 10 power 8 plus 8, it is equal to 1.197 into 10 power 16 by lambda. If you take lambda in angstrom units, this would be the value. If you take wavelength in centimeters, the value would be 1.197 into 10 power 8 by lambda. So this is about Stark-Einstein's law of photochemical equivalence. Please note down all these points, practice well and prepare for your exams. In the upcoming video, I will explain quantum yield, reasons for high quantum yield and reasons for low quantum yield. Thank you.